August 21st, 2022. This video is titled Mom Swatted Again. I'm Wayne Lambright, and if you don't know, I was running for President of the United States 2016 and 2020. Currently, I'm not running for 2024 because I have no financial support. Yeah. I'm also world famous for discovering gravity control, which is the ability to fly like a UFO, which doesn't fly on lift. It flies on the force of gravity, and they go like this, and they make these shapes as they fly, which is not normal. I'll say to law enforcement, check the comments here. You'll see people saying rude things. Make a note of who they are. It's always inevitable. Somebody will mention somebody called Thug Hunter. And if you mention the word Thug Hunter in the comments, I will ban you from my channel. And no, I won't unban you unless you send me $50 because there's nothing funny about the Thug Hunter. And I've been swatted 19 times. They've been to my home 16 times in person, the sheriff, and out of like 16 times, I think like 11 or 12 times, they were pointing guns at me. Many times machine guns. Wayne Lambright, come out with your hands up. This is the Riverside County Sheriff Department. If you don't come out with your hands, we're going to blow your head off. Yeah, pretty dangerous situation. Made me fear for my life because they have to drive an hour to get here because I live in the boonies. And so the sheriff department and the FBI, they don't have the resources or the money to investigate who's calling in the swatting attacks. So they're just going to continue forever. So today, during my call with my mom, she got swatted. The police were at the house, and the police had said that I had shot my mom 3 times. And they were just coming to make sure she's okay. But it's still a very dangerous situation, and it creates a lot of pain and suffering for her, a lot of anxiety for her. And my Aunt Gail was there. It creates pain and suffering for my Aunt Gail. She's not physically fit. She's like this close to having a heart attack because she postponed her physical fitness for the last 60 years. And so she's not doing well. Their dog's barking a lot. You know, it creates a lot of pain and suffering for them. And the Montclair Police Department, they've got to investigate the call because, you know, anybody who calls, even though it's the 4th time it's happened, they got to treat every call like it's real. I did talk to the Montclair Police Department. I didn't went to it first because I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, look at this. This is the 4th time. My brother's been swatted 5 times. You aren't the different police departments talking to each other? The FBI is involved. Like, I would think Montclair Police Department, hey, Upland, yeah. Well, Wayne lives in Riverside. Have you talked to the Riverside Sheriff? Yeah, the Riverside Sheriff has talked to Wayne, and they're talking to the FBI, and the FBI is working on it. So, case solved. We don't have the resources like the FBI, so let the FBI handle this. And I think that's where it's at. Is like each local police department doesn't have the money or the willingness to get subpoenas to find out who's making the calls. So the calls will continue to happen. And hopefully they flagged all my friends and family who are getting swatted. Oh, here's another swatting call to this address related to the Wayne Lambright guy. Hopefully they don't go out there guns blazing and they just treat it like a prank call that they have to investigate. A small amount. Well, they don't have to investigate it. They just have to go to make sure somebody wasn't killed, and then write a report, and then put that report in a box that never gets opened again because they don't have the money to do an investigation. Today, the police officer asked me something that I've never been asked. Would I like police to prosecute the people making the call? And I said, absolutely, please prosecute the people making the call. So that's nice. It's the first time I've heard that ever. I told my mom, I'm like, I actually still think it's benevolent in a silly way. What they're trying to do is have media do an interview with me because I'm running for president. And since the media is gamed, they don't want to interview me for president. The interview would be like, okay, Mr. Wayne Lambright, running for president, what makes you special? And I tell them, well, I've discovered gravity control. Sure you did. Would you like to see it working? I show it working. They're like, oh, interesting. Well, we can't show this on TV, Wayne. Why not? Yeah. It displaces a $15 trillion marketplace. Like, you're going to ruin the whole world with your gravity control. This interview's over. Something like that. Well, here's a person in the comments, Mr. H. Probably Jonah. Why did 4chan say I'm passed away? All I can think is it's benevolent. So the media says, oh, who's the guy who died? Oh, he was running for president. But wait, why is he dead? Oh, he invented gravity control. Oh, he did? Oh, what a bummer. We would have really liked to interview him before he died. We got good news. He's not dead. Now you can go interview him. Oh, I didn't really mean that. I don't want to interview him. I don't want to be dead. I think the biggest selling position I can come up for gravity control are dinosaurs. We can agree, most people can agree, that dinosaurs did exist. We didn't see one with our real eyes living. We saw bones, we saw evidence, we heard stories. So we all can agree dinosaurs probably existed. You're not ridiculed for talking about dinosaurs. Get a load of Wayne. What's up with Wayne? He says there's big lizards from the past as tall as houses, 50 feet tall. Lizards. He calls them dinosaurs. Wayne's a crackpot. They're not doing that. We accept dinosaurs. Yeah, we do. Nearly everybody accepts dinosaurs. But you mentioned UFOs. Whoa! Pump the brakes now. You've been drinking? UFOs. He's a little unstable. He's one of those alien people. He looks like it. Oh, yeah. Total alien. Okay, Wayne, we got to go. Say hi to your alien friends. Don't let that UFO bite you on the butt on your way out. You know, lots of ridicule around UFO people. However, the U.S. government is saying that UFOs have happened. The Pentagon has got a UFO department. I haven't seen a UFO, and I haven't seen a dinosaur. I still think they exist. So if we can agree without ridiculing each other that UFOs do exist, the next question is, well, actually, how does it fly? Well, I figured out how it flies. And you would think people would be beating a path to my door. Well, how's it work, Wayne? Well, the answer to that question actually is evidently super uncomfortable because, well, if that's the case, then we can solve global warming like this right away. We're not going to need to burn fossil fuels because those UFOs are not running around in the sky on gasoline. Hey, aliens, why'd you land? Well, we looked at our gas tank and we're nearly out of unleaded premium. Do you know where we can get some? Oh yeah, a gas station right down the street. Yeah, just fly over there. I can't. You got a gas can? Well, UFOs, we don't have that conversation about UFOs. They fly without needing fuel from Earth. They came from another place. Wait, whoa. What do you mean they came from another place? Well, we don't know where they came from. They might have come outside of our solar system. Whoa. Then that opens another difficult question. Superluminal speeds. Are they traveling faster than the speed of light? Like, I don't want to go against the Jews, but that crazy-haired Einstein guy said it's not possible. And so I'll be called anti-Semitic if I go against Einstein. And let's just put aside half of the science world thinks Einstein was a liar and a cheat and he stole those theories from another guy. I'm not calling Einstein a liar and a cheat and a fraud. I'm not doing that because I'll be called anti-Semitic and I'm Jewish. Okay. So I'm not doing that. Nope. Not doing it at all. And maybe Einstein did say superluminal speeds are possible somewhere. We just haven't found his notes yet. Yeah. But, these UFOs do propose a really difficult question that society just doesn't want to answer. Can't you be watching the football game or NASCAR or tennis or some feel-good television? How about a Game of Thrones or The Sopranos? Like, have a beer. Quit thinking so much, people. Bread and circus. Like, we live in a world where we're not allowed to ask really good adult questions. We need to keep everything low IQ teenager level. They don't want the adults in office, actually. But here comes Wayne Lambright. Who's Wayne? Well, he's kind of a genius. He figured out some things that you'd never believe it, but he believes in a responsible government. He ran for president with really good ideas. Why haven't we heard of him? Well, they don't want the good ideas they don't want that cat to get out of the bag. People might actually vote for this guy. He's got a brain on his shoulders. Well, what did he say? Well, he said all kinds of things. Like, literally, my campaign is too delicious. And put gravity control on top of it. Wait, what? Gravity what? Gravity control, flying like UFOs. Well, what does that mean? Well, there wouldn't be any more airplanes. Well, why not? Well, Wayne's gravity control. They fly around like jets and cars. Well, there wouldn't be any more ships. Do you know 80% of all goods are put on a ship and floated across the ocean in containers? No more ships. Why not? Well, Wayne would put gravity control on shipping containers, and then the shipping container would go right to the person who ordered the goods. Wouldn't even need to be on a boat. So the whole boat industry disappears. Well, what happens to tourism? Well, that actually expands under Wayne Lambright's technology. We spend 1.6 trillion on tourism. It would get bigger. How much do we spend on boats? 2.5 trillion. Airlines, 2.7 trillion. How big of an industry does Wayne's technology displace? He's a disruptor. He takes the whole industries of the world and gets rid of them with his technology. That's right. Me, Wayne Lambright, Lambright Enterprises, displaces a $15.1 trillion marketplace. If my company gets valued at 10 times the marketplace it displaces, that makes my company worth $150 trillion. I become the world's richest man. Nobody wants Wayne to be rich. That's why they keep me out of the spotlight. And it occurred to me that could be what's going on. So I'm willing to share most all of my pie with the current people running all the other industries. The airline industry, well, we can use gravity control for the airline, so they can start making these flying craft, and they can they'll make just as much profit with my technology. The shipping companies, well, I'll let them buy ownership of my gravity control, so they'll make just as much profit. It makes oil obsolete, but I'll give the oil companies money, so their profits are just as large as they were before by building the power stations that my technology replaces. The tourist industry, it gets a boost from my technology, and they can invest in my technology and have the flying ships faster than anybody else. So tourism could increase around the world. What other industries does it replace? Oh, automotive industry. Nobody's going to want cars. Well, we can still make cars. We can just put gravity canceling devices on cars so they don't weigh 3,000 pounds. They weigh 300 pounds or 30 pounds, so the tires still grip. So we can transition slowly into gravity control. So all the industries of the world who see me as a threat won't see me as a threat. They'll see me as a person making the world a better place and keeping them in control, keeping the power structures in place. All I did was invent technology and shared it with the world. I don't need to be the world's richest man. I just want to bring the world into the future, the bright future. So don't look at me as the enemy. Look at me as a gift. Do you want to steal my technology? Go ahead and steal it. I don't care. I just want you to know that we can get rid of global warming. We can stop using fossil fuels. We can power the earth with this electricity that I've discovered from gravity control. We can do this. We don't have to keep living in the past. The reason we're living in the past is nobody sold the current owners of the world on how to live in the future until I did. So not only have I invented this technology, I'm showing the world through leadership how the current power structure can maintain their current power structure, okay? So don't look at me as somebody that's going to put you out of business. Look at me as somebody who's going to keep you in business, okay? Yes, you could steal it from me, but why would you? Because the person you hired would be a thief. If you hired me, I'm the inventor of the technology, which is the source of the information, all right? I'm only 53 years old. Hopefully I'll live another 50 years. Imagine what I'll invent in the next 50 years, okay? Give me a problem that can't be solved. Maybe I can solve it. So look at me as a force multiplier, not a force divider. Macletus asks, why am I not bringing back mammoths? I'm not sure what mammoths would do to the global economy. How does that make the world a better place? If it, I think we could bring back a mammoth, right? Some people are talking about bringing back an extinct tiger. There is the movie Jurassic Park. Maybe we don't want dinosaurs roaming around. I don't want to go for a walk in the woods and one of those loose Tyrannosaurus is sleeping and eats me for lunch. think the world is a better place without those flesh-eating creatures running around. Maybe let society make those decisions, not just one rich person who could do it, right? That's what democracy is that we collectively vote on things and we choose as a society to make these decisions versus letting a few elites make the decisions. The Constitution is we the people. It's not we the elites, it's we the people. All men are created equal. I got to admit, I really like this idea because I'm not a wealthy person. I'm suffering. I'm living off grid with solar electricity, no water. I got to bring my water in jugs. My life is just as hard as most indigenous people. All right. So I'm living in absolute poverty right now. It's not easy. I mean, I got a laptop and cell phones, but I'm a smart guy being repressed by an advanced society. Normally, guys like me are beloved and taken care of, but instead the world is hating on me. And so if the world's going to hate on somebody who's going to bring the world into the future, what does that say for the future of humanity? What it says is quit working on cures for cancer, quit working on advanced anything, because the evil people of the world will stop you and they'll ruin your life because they don't want the world to advance. They want people to get cancer because cancer is a big industry. All those people making money off cancer treatments wouldn't get their money. And so they don't want you to cure cancer. Like, the world is too greedy to be living in the future. So the future is pain and suffering. The future is a living hell. Yeah, the world is a living hell, and people profit from that. And they think it's funny. They like you suffering. They like your mom dying. They like your grandma dying. They like your grandpa dying of painful cancers because they get profit from it. That's the world we live in, because you guys won't support a guy like me. You guys put me down. You make fun of me. You call me names. You could be sending donations to the Lambright 2024 on Cash App. You go to my Twitter on the app. There's a little button at the top. You could donate some money to me. Some people, I wanted to say thank you to Walter. He gave me $60 the other day. Thank you, Walter. Walter is about 80 years old. He's on food stamps and he gets $500 a month from the government. And he gave me $60. That's what we need. That's what I need, is more people like Walter willing to help me out, because I'm trying to protect the Walters of the world. You know, I met Walter 2 years ago at Walmart. He looked like my grandpa, my Jewish grandpa. We've been talking ever since. So we choose to live in the past. It's an active choice. We actively choose to empower criminals. We actively choose to elect kid fuckers. We elect and coddle the worst people running our society. We have police corruption in every department. We allow it to continue. We don't have district attorneys who will prosecute these people and keep them in jail because of the way politics works. They want to get elected to a bigger office and they got to let a few fish out. We're just living in a world of corruption, political corruption. There's nothing we can do about it except lay low, don't speak up, and just live your life. That's for somebody else to figure out. Well, I'm just so dumb, I made the mistake of running for politics. And I'm so confident in my abilities that I said that, well, you know, there's a power structure here that is criminal, running the world and doing all these dangerous things, you know. That's what I thought we should do, is speak out against the crimes. Like, look at Jeffrey Epstein. He got arrested, died in jail. His girlfriend gets arrested. She's in jail now 20 years. And none of the clients they provided the children, the sex slaves to, they're not in jail. It's a list of the world's elite. Lots of people you know household names were on that jet going to a child rape island. They're not in jail. They're not big news stories. No, they're running the world. Meanwhile, they're having a snack on your children. They're raping your children. They're murdering your children. They're drinking your children's blood, because inside that blood is adrenaline. Before your child died, it was full of adrenaline pumping in the blood. And at the right moment, they murder your child and they pour that blood into a glass and they drink it and they get high as a kite. It's called androchrome or adrenochrome. It's just adrenaline in the blood. Apparently, human blood is like an energy drink. And you put the androchrome in it, it becomes an energy drink with like LSD. And it's so amazing and it's so addictive that the elites of the world have been doing this for hundreds of years, and they're not willing to give up their power structure so much that they're willing to murder innocent children for it. That's actually the world we live in. And there's nobody with enough courage in this world to stop it except for me. Out of the 8 billion people on the earth, there's only one guy, you're looking at him, me, who had the guts to say anything. And look what they're doing to me. They're destroying my life. And you could be giving me money, trying to keep me alive, to keep this campaign going. Maybe you will give me money, but right now people aren't. So that's the world I'm living in. Oh, well, I regret doing it, but since the damage has been created, why stop now, right? Well, okay, so Mr. H here says, why don't I run for mayor? Yeah, of course I would be elected mayor. So what? Then you'd say run for Congress. Yeah, I'd be elected Congress. So what? Like, the media is still not going to interview me. Look what they do to like people they don't like. Marjorie Greene. They ridicule her. She's not on the news shows. They don't give her the time of day. You know, there's lots of people who know about 9/11, but they don't let them talk about it. Even people who work at the FBI know about 9/11 and they know who to arrest, but they're not allowed to arrest them because they'll be killed. Like, we live in a corrupt society. There's just nothing we can do about it. There just isn't anything we can do. All we can do is just try to live our life. You know, maybe I won't run for president. If somebody starts financing me or, financially backing me, maybe I run for Senate or House of Representatives. But without financing and without money and without me having resources, I got to go for what gives me the most spotlight, running for president. People want to interview me. Interviewing somebody running for president is more exciting than interviewing somebody running for mayor. Why haven't we heard of you, Wayne? Well, the media has blacklisted me. Well, why would they do that? Gravity control. So once you see gravity control working, you'll be like, oh my God, it's actually real. I've shown it on my Discord. There's a link in my Discord to gravity control working. We're going to get there eventually. Until this point, until you might be a comfortable American citizen with a good income and a house and a cozy living. and you're living a lie. You could be living a much better life, and these politicians have lied to you, and they have robbed you of your future. You were promised gravity control. You were promised cheap energy. Instead, what have you gotten? Persistent criminals in politics, higher prices for everything, hyperinflation, nonstop wars. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Here's what you can expect: more violence, more broken politics. You can expect the opposite of the bright future. The media is like, well, we're doing the best we can. There's no candidate out there who's trying to deliver a bright future. Nobody knows about gravity control. And until it's discovered, we just have to wait. Yet here I am. But they won't interview me because why? The system's rigged. I was telling my mom today, it all comes down to 9/11. 2 buildings fell on New York City. Everybody knows about it. But 3 buildings fell. They fell, and then building 7, it fell 4 hours later. And the media covers it up. The media is part of the cover-up. The media was in on it. Arabs didn't attack America. A mafia attacked America. That's what's going on. A global mafia. They got to do what they got to do to maintain power. And if it means killing 3 or 4 million people or 3 or 4,000 people, they're going to do it because that's what they do. The mafia, they kill people. So you better watch your mouth. They might just kill you. Right? You know, that's what they're doing. That's what they're saying to me. Watch your mouth, Wayne, or we're going to kill you. Well, if I'm dead, I'm dead. Hopefully it don't get killed. But at least I'm living life on my feet. You're living life on your knees. You're the sheep and I'm the lion. I'm not going to be put down. I'm not going to be repressed. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak up for myself. And I'm going to do what I think is right for me, which is living my truth. I don't own firearms because I'm that powerful. I'm not bulletproof, but I don't need a weapon to defend myself. I got feet. I can run. God give me a mouth to speak. What I do need are other people who are tired of living in this fucked up world. People who are willing to speak out. And all you have to do is support me financially. There's a donate on my Twitter at the top. You can donate Bitcoin to me or Cash App. You know, if I started getting some money, I could be dressed better. I could have a stage. I could be doing better videos. I could be going to rallies. People could meet in parks to hear me speak. And then those people could share those videos on social media. You couldn't stop it. But right now, since I get no financial support, the bright future is stopped. It's just the way it is. Cletus, gravity control is mightier than the sword. It really is. You know, maybe the aliens are coming to Earth to say, here's gravity control. If only you knew, you wouldn't have to be polluting the Earth with all these fossil fuels. Maybe they're leaving. Maybe they crashed their UFOs on purpose to give us the technology, right? The problem is, whatever got here on Earth, the people who control the Earth are like, oh my God, thank God we got that crash UFO. If the public knew this shit existed, we'd be out of business. That's what's happening. And just to say what gravity control actually is in conventional physics, it's an electric magnet with voltage past 100,000 volts. That will make everything stick to it. So then you're spin stabilizing it to make it stable. And then you're repelling the force of gravity on Earth, which is an electric magnet. That's gravity control. High voltage electromagnetism. That's all it is. Like, I think I can build a tractor beam. A tractor beam is like, imagine this is a drinking straw, all right? And imagine another drinking straw inside that drinking straw. So one's going this way and the one inside is going that way. So then it's a container. It's a invisible path container, but they're magnetic fields. So then there's a third magnetic field inside of opposite polarity of the destination. And so the other destination is positive. And if we make the force inside here negative, it will suck it in. If the other one's positive and we have a positive polarity coming out of here, we'll push it away. So we can make a tractor beam just like I just described to you. Actually, that's simple. High voltage electromagnetism. Richard Feynman talks about electromagnetism as one of the most interesting forces out there because it has infinite power. It has like 30 zeros behind it or 30,000 zeros behind it. It's that powerful. The more electricity you put on it, the bigger the number becomes with the weight, with the force of strength. There's something called electric universe theory. The whole universe is electric. Even atoms, the strong force and the weak force on atoms, what makes them do the orbits around them, we call that the strong and weak force. But we still don't know exactly what powers it. Well, the power comes out of the universe, and then it powers that. You got to see this guy, John Hutchinson. He had a butter knife. And imagine this is a block of steel, and he puts the butter knife on it and puts energy on it, and this starts vibrating. He doesn't show you this doing, but the butter knife goes into the steel. What he does show you, he cut the steel in half, and you can see the butter knife in the steel. And what happened is he mimicked the frequency of the atoms with radio waves. And so there's something called harmonic coupling. Then there's harmonic resonance. And so he coupled the same frequency, and then he turned up the volume and made them jiggle. And so when all the atoms were jiggling of the iron became liquid-like. And that's how he inserted the butter knife into the block of iron. He does that with radio waves. And so I think what's happening is we're talking millionths of cycles per second, millionths hertz, more like many million hertz cycles per second. There's a video in my Discord in the UFO section. There's a guy who worked for the U.S. Naval Intelligence, and he says they have a crashed UFO, and the power structure is a crystal. He says it looks like a piece of acrylic glass with a little bit of fogginess to it. So that tells me it's like a piece of glass, and the fog are like inclusions in a diamond. But since it's equal fogginess, it's a crystal. And since it's a fog, they're microscopic inclusions, which means the crystal is very small, very close together, which means the frequency is very small, and that in the universe, there's a very small frequency that makes that crystal vibrate. And if you don't know this, there's something called the piezoelectric effect. And if you squeeze a crystal, squeeze it, put it in a vise, it'll make electricity. And when you unsqueeze it, it recharges. Squeeze it again, electricity. And that's how those little clickers on the barbecue work. Click, and it goes, whoom. Those clickers on the barbecue are a mechanical apparatus. There's a little rock in there that's a crystal and a spring, and it just whacks it with a piece of steel. And when you whack the crystal, it squeezes it momentarily, and a little bit of electricity comes out. But it's high voltage electricity. So, but when it recharges, where does it get the electricity from? Well, out of the sky. I believe that Lockheed Martin Skunk Works has already patented this technology, and the government doesn't want to release it because oil. If we can keep our enemies from getting their hands on liquid oil, petroleum, we can stifle their innovations, and we can have the dominant force in the world, and we can make them do what we want. Slavery, actually. The U.S. government is producing it's economic slavery. We don't want other nations to be independent. We don't want other nations to be energy independent. We want to make them the slave of the United States of America. And if you look at the politics of the world right now, even Putin says this monopolar world where the USA controlled things is over, that we're entering a world of multipolars. There's multi leaders in the world: Russia, China, India, and America. And why is this happening? Well, those nations all have the knowledge of nuclear power. They have access to their own hydrocarbons, liquid petroleum, crude oil reserves. Like Venezuela has $15 trillion in untapped oil reserves right off the coast. $15 trillion of oil just waiting to be tapped. If they did that, they could be giving everybody in their nation free gasoline. Then everybody could be driving to all over the place, just making everything happen. They could build all the construction equipment they ever wanted because the fuel is free, and they just need labor to run the machines. And then with those machines, they could build anything they wanted. They could build a utopia city because they have this unlimited resource of hydrocarbons. And they can't do that right now because why? America will bomb the shit out of them and make sure they can't make any progress. America sabotages the whole world. We put a stick in their spokes. Yeah, we're really an asshole to the whole world. Don't you want a leader who tells you this? Of course you do. We, America, could be the leadership of the world. We can say, you can do this with hydrocarbons. You can do that with hydrocarbons. Let us help you build out all this future for you. And we kind of do that a little bit, but we're so greedy, we don't want to help our own citizens because we're demonic. The nations of the world are run by people who love Satan. Actually, this is the way I see the world. This is the way the Freemasons work. They're the followers of the light, Satan. They worship Satan. And there's another name for it. Lucifer. They're students of Lucifer. And Lucifer believes that all pleasure is good, even if pleasure harms others. Well, we know that not all pleasure is good, because if the pleasure does harm others, then that's not good for society. But these people don't care because they're sociopaths. So we got to decide as a global world, are we going to get rid of these bad actors? We really tried. We should try to get rid of them. We should. I would encourage anybody from any nation, if you want to have gravity control, try to find a way to support me. There's a very good chance we could get an operation going in a non-USA nation, but our factory would be bombed by America. So America, we need to have an intellectual and a technological revolution by voting me into office, actually. I'm the most qualified guy to give it to you because I've invented it. I'm a gift. I'm the person you've been dreaming about, but you're not even going to give the gift to yourself. Why is that? Well, you've been abused for so many years that you're just going to keep the abusive people in power. Someday that will change. I hope it changes in my lifetime. I hope we can break the conditioning. And right now, the world is hypnotized. They believe that the current power structure is the best power structure because they don't believe in the future. They're not willing to dream. They're not willing to take risks. And that's why I'm one investor away. I only need one venture capital guy to write me a check. Then in secret, I'll develop gravity control. And then we'll roll out our first Jetson car, maybe even a big glass bubble over it. And it'll just fly away. I am blessed that one of my supporters showed me something recently, which is gravity control. It's a drone. And I described it the other day, but imagine Pop-Tarts, Pop-Tart space, Pop-Tart, 1 inch of space, Pop-Tart, 1 inch of space. So like 20 Pop-Tarts this way, and call that a grid, a quadrant, and then 4 of them. So that would be 80 Pop-Tarts, all separated by 1 inch of space with a little wire above each Pop-Tart. So 80 Pop-Tarts and 80 wires in 4 sections. In each section is a controllable quadrant. And with a centralized high voltage thing, it flies like a drone, but it doesn't make any noise. They're calling it ion wind because they don't want to say gravity control. Yet, this is 100% gravity control. So luckily, it is coming to life. That video is in my Discord. At the bottom of this video, you'll see a link to a Discord. I just made a new link. That invite does work. And you can go to my Discord. It's open to the public. And in the gravity control section, you'll see a guy with the dodo. It's a dodo cartoon. He publishes this link to the drone that's flying at a Las Vegas tech conference. My technology is no different from that, except imagine 4 thrusters, like 4 jets lifting off the ground. Each jet would need to have, let's call it 10 units of force, and that would be level flight. And if one jet went to 9 units of force, it would tilt in that direction. And that's just how this gravity control device is flying. It increases force or reduces force, and that tilts the craft to move in a direction. It's literally this easy. I am giving away my secrets in the hope that my honesty will bring the money to me. Whoever does invest in my idea and my company, we will own the technology, and I think it's important for us to license this to people around the world. We will make trillions of dollars, but let's not be greedy about this. Let's do this for the benefit of humanity. Let's do this for the benefit of global warming reduction, right? This is really a benevolent gift. I'm just lucky to figure it out. Guys at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, they figured it out. I'm sure other people have figured it out. And for some reason, they're not allowing this technology to come out. And we have to say, as adults living in today's very hot world, are we going to quit lying to ourselves? Are we going to quit supporting these evil politicians? Are we going to live in the bright future? Are we? I'm going to conclude. I'll read more comments. You guys can donate to me, Cash App, Lambright 2024. There's a link to my Discord on my Twitter page, which is Rabbi Desert Rabbi. You guys can give me donations there. You're never going to see a more honest video than what you just saw. It's so controversial that the media won't touch it with a 10-foot pole because the media are afraid of losing their job because of the higher power structure. Because literally, we're all slaves. We're not part of the elites. We're all servants. So do you want to cut off your chains? Do you want to quit being a slave? All you have to do is donate to me. And in a short period of time, I'll be able to have rallies. We'll be able to have working prototypes. We'll be able to share more data. You can already see working prototypes. I don't know what else to say. Akalaba Sakaba, what technology? Gravity control. Well, I think we beat this to death. We got 50 minutes in here. I'm going to turn this off here in about a minute if somebody doesn't say something in the comments. You know, why are they posting the 20 things on 4chan? Well, first of all, let's acknowledge the janitors are allowing it. And if the janitors are allowing it, part of the global power structure. So I think the global power structure is trying to help me. And I think they're trying to get more people behind me. Yeah, I do believe these swattings are benevolent. I think what they're trying to do is make a sensational news story where somebody in the media will want to interview me and release this story. It just there isn't a courageous enough investigative journalist of high influence. You know, like if the New York Times did a piece, future president invents gravity control and being swatted. I mean, it's really a really weird story, right? It's so complicated, like all these different things going on. And then how law enforcement twiddling their thumbs, the law enforcement can't get anything done. FBI, like, look at, hey, we're just the FBI, man. We don't walk on water. These people calling in the calls, you know what they have? Telephones, man. We're just the FBI. We can't do shit with these things. These things are like lightsabers. You can't find out who's using these things. Until that technology is invented, we're powerless at the FBI. We need more funding. Sorry, folks. We've done what we could. Sorry, Wayne. Sorry, Wayne's friends and family, but man, we're just doing everything we can. But they got fucking cell phones, man. Well, we can't. We're powerless against the cell phone. So, you know, the FBI has done what they could. And how could local law enforcement they don't have more resources or connections than the FBI, so they're just as powerless. Local law enforcement's like, all we can do is scare the shit out of Wayne so he stops making these videos about gravity control. But we tried, he just won't stop, and we don't know what's wrong with him. So, like, everybody's trying the best they can. It's the world we live in, man. It's all we can do. Maybe you guys pray that some woman takes me under her wing and I give up this life of technology and I just spend the rest of my life doing stuff with my new old lady, you know, watching movies on the couch, eating popcorn, cooking dinner, throwing frisbee to the dog at the park, that kind of shit. But since I'm living in this beautiful desert place all by myself, I've only got time to make videos like this, right? And I'm saying I'll keep making videos if you guys send me money. I'll keep fighting the system on your behalf. I'll take the risk. I'll shoulder the risk. All you got to do is send me Bitcoin. Nobody will know you're sending me the money. Bitcoin's anonymous. So you can support the bright future, but not take the risk. It's a win-win. Yeah, I heard about Dugan. That's very sad that his daughter passed away in the bombing, meant for him most likely. You know, like Putin, Putin should embrace the New World Order. Maybe Putin shouldn't be invading Ukraine. Like, if they think that Ukraine is full of degenerate people, just let them be degenerates by themselves. Let them self-degenerate. Maybe Putin, if he wants to protect the people in eastern Ukraine that were being murdered by the Ukrainian government, 14,000 people since 2014 got murdered. They were shelling eastern Ukraine. It'd be like the U.S. government shelling a part of Pennsylvania because they didn't like the people who lived there. Well, maybe the Russian government could say, hey, all you Russian-speaking people, you can come to Russia, you can have Russian passports, and since you're victims of war, we're going to give you like $50,000 a year and a free home. Because right now they would just be like homeless living on the streets of Russia if they migrated over to Russia where it would be safe for them and they wouldn't be murdered. It's a bummer to give up the place you've been living, but I know what it's like to be a political refugee. I got evicted with no summons for paying my rent. All right, so I know what it's like to be a refugee. I know what it's like to be politically persecuted. It sucks. You know what sucks more? Being dead. So be grateful you're alive. Be grateful you got an opportunity to build your life back. All right? So look at the bright side of life. You're looking at them. But literally, look at the bright side of life. You're still alive. You got your health. And you got a chance at a bright future for yourself. You can rebuild. We're signing off. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. Don't forget to donate at my Twitter page, Desert Rabbi, Rabbi. Cheers.